Vaughn Grissom gets called up and instantly becomes a hero over the weekend, helping the Atlanta Braves extend their winning streak. Also, the Atlanta Braves pitching staff at the minor league level had an incredible week. We'll talk about all of that on this episode of Locked On Braves. So let's get into it.
You are Locked On Braves, your daily Atlanta Braves podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, and welcome back to Locked On Braves, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your favorite Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I am your host, Jake Mastriani. You can follow me on Twitter at shortstopball. Also, check out my written work over at bravestoday.com. Make sure you follow the podcast on Twitter at LockedOn_Braves. Send in any questions, comments, or feedback that you have for the podcast. If you're new, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching there, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button to help support the show. And let me know down in the comment section if you are an everydayer. We're looking for all our everydayers out there across the Locked On Podcast Network. So let me know if you are one of those. Enjoy always hearing those comments from you. Thanks as always for making Locked On Braves your first listen of each and every day. Again, we post episodes daily, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and are free and available on all platforms. This Locked On Braves Minors Monday episode is brought to you by Ultimate Baseball GM. Ultimate Baseball GM helps you live out that dream of becoming an MLB GM and managing your baseball franchise. Then this game is definitely for you if you are one of those people. Download the game. Just visit ultimatebaseballgm.com or look it up on the app stores. Our listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code LOCKEDON in all caps when you do that in the game store today. Got a lot to talk about on this Monday episode of Locked On Braves, a Minors Monday episode. And man, am I excited to talk about some of the performances down at the minor league level, especially the starting pitching. But we got to begin this episode talking about the Braves' sweep of the Royals over the weekend, their winning streak up to 6 in a row. And I don't care who you're playing. And I know the Braves haven't been playing the best competition early on. And the best competition they played, they did lose that series to the Padres, which they have a chance to redeem themselves this week. But still, winning in Major League Baseball is difficult. Sweeping a series in Major League Baseball, very difficult. And the Braves have done it 2 times in a row. They've done it 3 times already this year. They are off to a really good start, a 12-4 record, best in the National League. And again, just getting it done in so many different ways. The offense, the pitching, as Brian Snitker said, when you're winning like the Braves are right now, everything just seems to be clicking. And they're doing this banged up with some key losses. They've done it for the majority of the season without Kyle Wright, without Max Fried, without Travis d'Arnaud, without Michael Harris, without Colin McHugh, without Raisel Iglesias. And they are continuing to get it done. It's really just been special to watch this team play in the depth that they had. Yes, the competition's about to pick up, and we'll see what happens then, especially with the Braves still being somewhat shorthanded, but they are getting healthier. We'll talk about it later. Max Fried returning. But I want to jump into some of the highlights from the weekend, and hopefully you listened to the postcast me and Grant McCauley had over the weekend, doing a couple of those games in that Royals series. But you probably heard in that, if you listen, one of the biggest surprises for me is Ozzie Albies, and he got going over the weekend. I tweeted this out, but he put 11 balls in play in that Royals series. 8 of them were hard hit. He had an average exit velocity of 95.6 miles per hour of all the balls that he put in play over the weekend. And you take out the 1 ball in play that was hit 68.7 miles per hour, and his average exit velocity goes up to almost 99 miles per hour on the balls he put in play. We talked about him last week in our Taco Tuesday podcast, the fact that he's struggling early on, wasn't impacting the baseball at all. That changed over the weekend, and he is certainly starting to square up some baseballs, and that's great. We know Ozzie can go on some really hot stretches. Hopefully, we're starting to see him turn a corner, get back to himself, and become that all-star level player. But it was a great weekend for him. 5 for 13, those 5 hits in the last 2 games of the series. 5 runs batted in, had a home run, almost had another home run on Sunday, but it was a double, ended up being the game-winning run after Vaughn Grissom drove him in. So just a really encouraging weekend all around for Ozzie Albies. And again, hopefully the beginning of a good run for him and him getting back to that player that we so desperately missed last year. Starting pitching back on track. In my opinion, every starter pitched into the 6th inning in this series. A lot of that because the Braves offense got out to such big leads, you kind of afford them to do that. But still, I thought everybody was solid. Charlie Morton, it was still, so-so. It wasn't that top of the rotation Charlie Morton, but I'm beginning to think we need to lower our expectations a little bit of Charlie Morton until we see him do it more consistently. He's pitching more like a 3rd or 4th starter. And look, I get it. He's getting paid like an ace. He's getting paid for a top of the rotation pitcher. But if everybody else is pitching like they're supposed to, Max Fried comes back and he's the ace. Spencer Strider is pitching like an ace. If Kyle Wright pitches like a 2 or a 3, you can live with Charlie Morton being a 3rd or 4th type starter. Yes, you want more out of him, and the Braves, for what they're paying him, you hope you would get more out of him. But still, he can be a very good pitcher. And I think he was just fine in his start against the Royals. Still would love to see more out of him. And again, I think that price tag is really setting the expectations for Charlie Morton right now. The same thing happened with Drew Smyly a couple of years ago, and I said this a lot then. He was getting way overpaid for the production that he was giving, and I thought he got way overpaid in the first place. But if you look at it, he was being a fine 4th or 5th starter. And I think you could say the same about Charlie Morton. He's being a fine, 3rd or 4th starter, but he's getting paid like a top of the rotation pitcher. So we may just have to change our expectations for Charlie Morton and not necessarily look at the price tag of what he's making. Wright, to me, was the most encouraging starting pitching performance of the weekend. I thought he looked really good. I know that 3rd inning kind of got away from him. The velocity was way down, but pitchers were really struggling to grip the baseball in that weather in Kansas City. So I'm going to chalk that up to being part of the reason for that. But the curveball was really good. He was getting weak contact, able to get out of that 3rd inning this time. It almost looked like maybe it was becoming a mental thing for him, but able to get over that hurdle and work into the 6th inning, 1 out away from getting through 6 innings. I thought it was a very encouraging start for Kyle Wright. And then Bryce Elder, not the performance that we saw from the first 2 outings, but again, as a 5th starter, which is what I think he is and will be, a 4th, 5th starter, a good performance from him. You will take that all of the time. So I really like the starting pitching over the weekend. It may not have been the dominant type of starting pitching that you are hoping for, but we'll leave that up to guys like Max Fried and Spencer Strider. And hopefully, we get to see the starting rotation get on a good run here now that they're starting to get healthy. Sean Murphy, guy has been on fire. And I know he had an over 4 with 3 strikeouts on Sunday, batting in the DH spot, but had 5 hits, 2 home runs, 3 doubles, and 7 runs batted in. And the first 2 games of this series, in April, he's slashing 316, 490, 737. So that's a 737 slugging percentage. That's not his OPS. That's his slugging percentage. 10 straight extra base hits for Sean Murphy. The guy is just on fire at the plate right now, doing so at a time where the Braves really need him because Travis d'Arnaud is still out and still injured. Haven't heard much of an update on him when he could be ready to come back. But Sean Murphy, we know he's going to get it done behind the plate as he has, but coming through big with the bat as well and hitting cleanup. We talked about we need somebody outside of that top 3 to step up. Sean Murphy has done that. Ozzie Albies has done that. So that is a great sign for this Braves lineup, just lengthening it even more, becoming that deadly lineup that we all knew that it could be. And then the bullpen stepping up in a big way. And I see comments out there from people talking about this bullpen, how it needs help. They need to make moves. This bullpen is not good. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. This bullpen has been exceptional, especially when you consider all of the injuries that they've had so far and the fact that they've had to be overworked because starters haven't been able to go deep in the game. They've thrown the 4th most innings in all of baseball, the most in the National League. So this bullpen has been overtaxed and it has been undermanned, and they still have the 5th best ERA in Major League Baseball, the 2nd best ERA in the National League. They're second in MLB and WHIP, 1st in the National League. They're also 1st in the National League in average against, 3rd in all of baseball. They haven't been getting the strikeouts this year, but they're 5th in walks per 9 in Major League Baseball, 2nd in the National League. So not giving up a ton of free passes like the starters have been. So I think this bullpen has been spectacular, especially when you consider the fact they've been overworked and they've been injured and banged up and losing some key pieces. I know everybody wants to talk about Michael Tonkin. He gave up the home run on Sunday. I think Snit probably should have gone to a lefty there in that situation, obviously hindsight being what it is. But again, I talked about this on the postcast. I think that's just the trust that Michael Tonkin has gained out there because what he's been able to do. Nick Anderson's been great. He's the Braves' probably best setup man right now for AJ Minter. So, yeah, the bullpen in my mind has gotten it done, and they're not even at full strength. So I think it's going to get even better. Ozuna, absent in the lineup a couple times over the weekend, really only started when he was facing a lefty. It's at the point now, I hope, where he has to prove that he deserves playing time. 2+ years. And I get it. And I see all the comments, people who are still big optimistic about Marcell Ozuna. I'm not in that camp. I haven't been for a while, but I get it. He's done it in the past. He's more proven than some of these other guys. But again, we're talking about 2+ years now of not being a very good offensive player. In my mind, he has to earn the playing time going forward. Snicker's still going to put him in there. He's going to pick his spots. But Ozuna's got to earn that playing time because there are other guys there, especially when Harris and others come back and d'Arnaud. There are going to be other guys in this lineup who are deserving of a chance. I think Hilliard needs to be in there just about every day. I still want to see more of Eli White. We haven't seen a ton of him. He's got a handful of starts so far. I just think there's other guys who are more deserving of those opportunities right now until Ozuna proves that he can make some changes and really start impacting the baseball like he has in the past and like we've seen before. But again, 2+ years now of this, he's got to earn that playing time at this point. And so far lately, to begin the season, he has not. Early, I get it. It's small sample size. But again, as somebody tweeted out to me, Vaughn Grissom already has as many hits as Marcell Ozuna, and he's only had one weekend, 3 games on the season in the big league. So Ozuna's got to earn all the playing time that he can get going forward. All right, next I want to talk about the minor league season and the starting pitching for the Atlanta Braves and all their top pitching prospects had a fantastic week. We'll talk about that next. Everyone is always looking for a great fantasy game to see how they can do as the GM of a baseball team. And if you are one of those people, then I got the app for you, Ultimate Pro Baseball GM. It's a mobile game that lets you manage your own professional baseball franchise to try and build and win a World Series championship. You get to manage all the things that you would do as a GM, every strategic aspect from hiring the right coaches, managing finances, managing difficult personalities. You want to cut Marcell Ozuna, you go ahead and do it. You want to give Dansby Swanson $200 million, you go ahead and do it. You get that freedom when you play Ultimate Baseball GM, all in a challenging and realistic game world. It's completely free, playable offline, so you can play on the go. Me and the other Locked On hosts played it a lot throughout the offseason, continuing to do so, and it's a lot of fun. Locked On Braves listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On in all caps in the game store. So make sure to check it out. To download the game, just visit probaseballgm.com, scan the code, or look it up on the app stores. That's probaseballgm.com. Ultimate Baseball GM. Start your dynasty today. This is a Minors Monday episode of a Locked On Braves, and I am really excited to talk about some of the Braves' top prospects, specifically the pitching prospects and the week that they had. I'm going to go back to the format I had last year, where I'm going to start out just talking about the top prospects in the Braves system, going by MLB Pipeline's top 10 list, and then I'll give you some other notables at each level. MLB Pipeline has Jared Schuster at the top, and he went down to Gwinnett, had a really good start, 6 innings, only 3 hits, 3 walks, though, is the thing that gets me. That's what I'm looking for Jared Schuster. 2 runs, only 1 earned, 8 strikeouts. But again, good start. Yes, I got to see those walks come down. That's really what hurt Jared Schuster at the major league level. Got to see that command come back like we're used to seeing from Jared Schuster. But still, a promising start for him, a really good start for him. Owen Murphy and J.R. Ritchie made their 2023 debuts and were both just fantastic. Owen Murphy, 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, no earned, 6 strikeouts. J.R. Ritchie, 3 innings, no hits, no walks, no earned, and 7 strikeouts. The Braves' first 2 picks from last year off to a really good start in 2023. A.J. Smith-Shawver made his debut this past week. 4 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, no earned, and 8 strikeouts. So again, you're seeing a theme here. A lot of the Braves top pitching prospects had some really good performances. Cole Phillips, he tweeted out that he was throwing, and that was good to see, but that tweet got pulled down for whatever reason. But good to see him back on a mound throwing a ball, baseball again. Hopefully we get to see him some point in the next couple of months or so. Braden Shoemake, 4 for 16, 2 doubles. Looked like maybe he was starting to get it going. I know Garrett Spain does a great job covering the prospects over at Battery Power. Was talking about the hard hit exit velocities for Braden Shoemake. The hits just haven't been there. But unfortunately, he got hit on the hand with a line drive in the game on April 14th and wasn't in the final 2 games of that series. So haven't really got any type of injury update on him, but that'll be something to monitor this week to see if he's back out there. Spencer Schwellenbach made his Braves professional debut. 2 innings, 2 hits, no walk, 1 run. It was not earned, and 1 strikeout for Spencer Schwellenbach. Good to see him out on a mound. Darius Vines, I haven't seen him since spring training. Looking for an update on him. If you have one, let me know in the comments. But he has not pitched yet so far this year. Ambioris Tavares, just 3 for 19 this past week, 2 doubles, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 1 stolen base, got caught stealing twice. Really good defensively from everything I hear. Haven't been able to watch a lot, so that's great, but offense still just lagging behind for Tavares so far. Dylan Dodd went down to AAA like Schuster, had a really good outing, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 3 walks, no earned, and 8 strikeouts. So again, both of those guys had 3 walks, something you want to see them kind of tighten up. And then Nacho Alvarez isn't an MLB Pipeline's top 10. I don't know how much longer they can have that, but this past week, the guy 8 for 23, just 1 double, 6 walks to 2 strikeouts. The guy's just an elite hitter. I mean, I don't know what else to say about him. 8 for 23, 6 walks, 2 strikeouts. Now, he's not impacting the baseball. You're not seeing the extra base hits, and that is the one knock on Nacho right now, is that you're not seeing that power ability. But the guy puts the bat on the baseball. He gets his hits. He gets on base. Just elite bat and ball skills. So another good week from Nacho Alvarez. Those are your top prospects, the top 10 prospects. There were some other really good weeks, so bear with me for a moment while I go through some of these stats and other notable performances. Ed Gwinnett, Hoy Park had a good week, 6 for 14. Joe Hudson, 5 for 17 with a homer. Forrest Wall, 3 stolen bases, 6 walks, gets on base. He also had a home run showing some power. I just really like Forrest Wall, the potential that he has with that speed. Haven't even mentioned Michael Soroka yet. He made another rehab start this past week. 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 1 earned, 5 strikeouts. Good to see that for Soroka. I think he was back around 70 pitches again as they slowly ramp him up. Yaxel Rios had a good week out of the bullpen for Gwinnett. 3 innings, 5 strikeouts, no earned. Roddery Munoz in the bullpen. I think this is a guy that has some big potential in the bullpen for the Braves long term. 3 innings this past week, 1 hit, no walks, no earned, and 3 strikeouts. Nolan Kingham had a good performance for Gwinnett as well. 6 innings, just 1 earned run on 4 hits. At Mississippi, Cade Bunnell, a guy I've talked about on him before, big power, also big strikeouts. He was 6 for 23 this past week, 13 strikeouts, but had 2 doubles and a triple. Cody Milligan, it seems like every night I'm seeing something about Cody Milligan down at Mississippi. He was 6 for 18 this past week, 2 doubles, a home run. Luis Diavila, 2 starts this week, 7 2/3 innings, just 3 earned runs and 11 strikeouts, but walked 7 batters. So need to work on those walks a little bit there. Alec Barger had a good week at Mississippi out of the bullpen, 4 innings, just 2 hits, 5 strikeouts. And Kyle Wilcox, 2 1/3 innings, 5 strikeouts, no hits, no walks, no runs. So again, a lot of good performances at the upper levels there. Now getting down to Augusta. I don't get a ton of opportunities to watch the minor league levels like I wish I did. Watching the Braves games, doing the postcast, all that editing for the podcast. Unfortunately, just don't have a ton of time. But if you do, make sure you check out Augusta. Not only do they have a lot of great pitchers, check out Rome. Not only does, Rome or Augusta has all the good pitchers, Rome at the top 3 in their order. It's my guy, Kevin Kilpatrick, who I love. It's also Drake Baldwin. It's Nacho Alvarez. That's just a really fun top of the lineup to watch right now. And Kilpatrick this past week, 7 for 25 at the plate, scored 7 runs, had a double, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, 4 stolen bases. You know how much I love Kevin Kilpatrick. I just think he's a toolsy type of guy, can do a lot of things for you. He's off to a good start. We already talked about Nacho. And then Drake Baldwin, 6 for 13, and 2 doubles, only played in 3 games this past week. Ian Mejai at Rome as well, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 earned, 7 strikeouts. And then Peyton Williams, 4 innings, a hit, 2 walks, 1 earned, and 7 strikeouts on the pitching side. But again, that top 3 in the order for Rome, a lot of fun to watch. And then finally at Augusta, David McCabe, 6 for 15 with a double and a home run, starting to show off that power potential. Jared Johnson, 5 1/3, 2 hits, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts. Good start for him. Seth Keller, 3 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. And Adam Shoemaker, 3 innings, no hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Now, a lot of you may have seen this tweet that I posted on Monday morning talking about the top pitching prospects for the Braves, but I'm going to run you through these numbers real quick. I know I've thrown a lot of numbers at you, but listen to these here. This is Jared Schuster, Owen Murphy, J.R. Ritchie, A.J. Smith-Shawver, Spencer Schwellenbach, Dylan Dodd, Seth Keller, and Adam Shoemaker. Their combined stats for this past week: 31 1/3 innings pitched, 16 hits allowed, 9 walks, 6 of those came from Schuster and Dodd, only 1 earned run allowed. That's a 0.29 ERA and a 0.80 whip with 46 strikeouts from the Braves' top pitching prospects. That is just crazy results for the Braves' top pitching prospects. Now, it's early on. I get all that. A lot of these guys aren't going deep into starts right now. But what a week for the Braves' top pitching prospects, just showing you the depth that this team still has at the minor league level. I know they don't have a lot of top-ranked guys. I think they will have some by the end of the year, either Murphy or Ritchie or both. I think could definitely shoot in there. You know how much I love Nacho Alvarez as well on the hitting side. So I still really like this farm system, but it was just a great, really first full week at the minor league level for some of the Braves' top pitching prospects. All right, now the Braves continue their winning streak into San Diego, which is the only team that's really given them problems so far. But the Braves do get the return of Max Fried. We'll talk about that next. Our new sponsor, you've heard about them. They're all over the place. It's So Rare, a revolutionary fantasy baseball game and marketplace, which is transforming fans into owners with officially licensed digital cards featuring players from across all 30 MLB teams. I've been playing this game pretty much since the season started, and it's a lot of fun. You build your team based on, a set number of money, fake money that you can spend. It is free to play. You don't have to spend any money to play this game. And then you build your lineup, you compete with other players, and then you can win all kinds of rewards. You can win jerseys, merchandise, VIP experiences, scarcity cards in the game tickets, depending on the level of competition that you are playing. It's really a lot of fun. It's fun to keep up with. It's just another type of fantasy game, but it just feels more real. And if you like card collecting as well, then it's a really fun game to play. There's 2 different cycles typically during the week, 3 to 4 day cycles. And again, you compete at all different types of levels. So it's just a really fun fantasy game to play that you can collect and compete. Head to sorare.com/lockedon. That's SORARE.com to draft your team of free player cards, set your lineup, and start competing today to win epic rewards. Again, that's sorare.com/lockedon to start playing today. Big news coming out of Sunday's game. After the game, Brian Snitker confirmed that Max Fried will come off the IL to start Monday. So again, Braves have gotten through this stretch without Max Fried and really some okay starting pitching performances, really, again, because of what the bullpen has done. And now they're getting their ace back in Max Fried, who in spring training looked so efficient, and in his really small sample size against the Nationals looked really, really efficient. I'm hoping we get to see that Max Fried on Monday. He has been able to throw while he's been injured, so shouldn't really have many limitations on the arm. It's really just that leg, and keep getting him off of that so that hamstring doesn't become a lingering issue. But hopefully we get to see that Max Fried ready to go out on the mound. Like you're 12-4, you get your ace back. That's got to feel really good. You got a 6-game winning streak going on. So I can't wait to see Max Fried back out there. And look, the Padres took 3 of 4 in Atlanta against the Braves. The only win the Braves had was a walk-off. Now, those first 3 games were really competitive, could have gone either way. But now you're set up in this series against the Padres, now in San Diego, where you got Max Fried, Spencer Strider, and Charlie Morton. You really got an opportunity here to get some payback against those guys, win this series on the road, keep that good momentum going. Then you got another tough task over the weekend, and the Houston Astros are a little slow out of the gate. So looking for another big week from the Braves. So glad to have Max Fried back. Hopefully they continue to get healthy, possibly get Michael Harris back this week as well. So everything looking up for the Braves right now, whether at the major league level or the minor league level. Really fun to be a Braves fan right now and watch this team. Hopefully you are enjoying it as much as I am. That will do it for this episode of Locked On Braves. Thanks for making Locked On Braves your first listen of the day. Thank you so much to all the everydayers out there who tune in. Again, thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at LockedOn_Braves. You can follow me at ShortstopBall. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcast, and we will talk to you next time.